welcome you into the Hannycast for Monday, March the 16th. I'm Charles Hanagriff, along with former Tiger coach Dan Canevari, and we're in your new digs here.
Yeah, we're over at the Service Hawk podcast studio right here in Madisonville. Charlie made the drive over here to the beautiful North Shore, and Service Hawk and Leland Desch do a great job here. Do digital marketing, but they built a beautiful podcast studio. So we're taking advantage of it this morning.
Looking forward to doing some more work with them. All right, Dan, LSU drops 2 out of 3 over the weekend against Vanderbilt. They win the midweek game against Creighton. It was 13-12 on Friday night, 11-3 on Saturday night, and 16-9 on Sunday afternoon. All right, let me see if you agree with me here. 3 toughest ways to lose a ball game, okay? Number 1, the gold medal, you're 1 out away. You got 1 out to secure a victory, and you get walked off. Number 2, you blow a big lead. Anything 5 runs or more, you feel like, hey, man, that one ought to be me. Third way, toughest way to lose a ball game is get blown out. Just get absolutely stomped, close to run ruled. Well, Friday night, LSU had number 1. They were 1 out away.
All right, let me add to that.
Good.
It's even worse. They were 1 pitch away.
1 pitch away. Okay. All right. So Friday night, you were 1 out away. You get that. On Saturday, you get the Skull Dragon. And then on Sunday, you're looking number 3, the second toughest, in my opinion. But you're looking at third game in blowing a 6-run lead, okay? And that's why I thought yesterday was so important that LSU came back for a bunch of reasons. But that they came back and won that game yesterday, 1-2 feels a lot different than 0-3. And if the coup de grace would have been, you're up 6-0 in the other ballpark and you lose, and it went from 6-0 to 6-6. That would have been really tough. So big win for the Tigers yesterday, but a lot of stuff to work on.
A lot of stuff to work on. But remember now, you're 1 pitch away from being 2 out of 3 on the road at Vanderbilt. So again, you got to look for some things. It's very tough after getting a walk-off loss like they got on a Friday night to come back and play on Saturday, because the other team is adrenalized and you're still trying to recover and lick your wounds. So that was a tough one. I'm going to add a 4th way to struggle on a weekend. Your starting pitcher doesn't get you into your Friday night guy doesn't get you into the 5th or 6th inning. And you're down by a lot early.
Throws your bullpen for the whole weekend, right?
Right. It messes up the pitching. So I thought, looking at the weekend as a whole, it actually, with the way it started, they came out pretty good shape in the fact that they did get 1 out of 3. They were 1 pitch away, but they came back twice from from being down. And that shows some mark of resiliency and hopefully some growth on the team as far as understanding what it's really like to play in the SEC, especially the new players.
We're brought to you by the Capital Area USSSA Baseball Affiliate, hosting events for all levels and skills, hosting league play and rec all-star divisions, AA, AAA, and Major League State national events. They've got some great events lined up here as we get deeper into the spring. Contact Lane Petrie at 771-9095. Lane Petrie, 225-771-9095. All right, now let's go back to the game on Friday night. Let's start there. LSU walked 11 guys in the first 5 innings of this thing. I'm just going to let you go from there, because Kason Evans is not a guy who, over most of last year, even in this year, the walk totals just get away from him. And Cooper Williams, I thought was really good a year ago, but neither one of them could find the strike zone on Friday night.
Yeah, that's hard when you don't throw the ball over the plate. It makes it very, very difficult. Plus, you're working in behind counts and against a good hitting team. And I will say this, Charlie, we noticed this. The Vanderbilt ballpark, Hawkins Field, a little smaller than it used to play.
It is.
And it makes a difference when it's smaller, 1 pitch away from a homer, at any point in time. So if you're behind in those counts, and Vanderbilt's gone from being kind of a small ball team to playing the power game. And so when you're behind in counts and you're walking people and putting free guys on base, it just adds to the fact that the percentages are working against you. They get an advantage counts. They can take what they call ambush swings, meaning 2-0, 3-1. I'm going to look for my pitch and just attack it with everything I got. So that changes the whole dynamic of the hitting approach. and it makes it very tough to pitch, especially in a small ballpark.
Tell me about Cooper Williams, since you talked about your starting pitcher not getting you deep. He had to come in, obviously, before they wanted him to. He did not have a good outing on Friday night. He did bounce back with a clean inning on Sunday. Now, they had the big lead at that point, but he was able to come back and pitch a good inning in the last game.
Yeah, you just got to keep putting him out there. If he's one of your guys that you feel that has the ability to do that, hey, you have a bad outing that happens. Probably they got a little overconfident in fact that, well, Case and Evans going to go out there and get it done. And now all of a sudden you're up in the bullpen in the second, third inning, and you're not ready for that mentally. You were ready to maybe be in the sixth or seventh inning. And so, again, it's all a learning experience. Jay's got to bring this team along. Cooper Williams was a freshman. Now we're asking him to graduate and step up and be the sophomore guy that's a key piece out of the bullpen. And so, again, it's a growth thing. They've got to learn how to do it because everyone that returns from last year is now stepping up in a new role, and they've got to adapt to that role. And the new guys have to jump in and figure out how this thing works.
Do you think, in my opinion, they've struggled a little bit behind the plate receiving the ball? It just hasn't been as clean as you would like. Do you think that's starting to affect the pitchers a little bit?
It may a little bit. The pitching may be affecting the catching as well. Meaning, if you're calling pitch inside and ends up outside, the guy's throwing 95. It's hard enough to hit, but it's harder to catch. And so, I think it's going to evolve and get better and better. Last year, we struggled behind the plate early. Hernandez had caught. He was a first baseman when he came.
Yeah.
And he got better and better. And by the end of the year, he was a good catcher. I know Josh George is going to spend a ton of time working with these guys at receiving and blocking better. And again, it's just playing more and more games at this speed. The speed of the game and the speed of the pitches are much different, and the pressure's bigger and the crowds are bigger. So getting comfortable and playing in this environment is key for this team right now.
Located in the heart of downtown Hammond, China, an upscale Italian restaurant serving traditional dishes in contemporary fashion, inspired by the abundance of fresh local produce and the ways of old China, creating a unique dining experience. Their goal is to use local ingredients and delicious recipes to create an exceptional dining experience, while also providing a fresh and inclusive atmosphere that can be enjoyed by everyone. China, in the heart of downtown Hammond. All right, so in this game, LSU falls behind. It's 10-3. And I thought there were two positives after that before you get to the end, and they just lost. Okay. They gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Bummer. But I thought two positive things happened in between there. Number one, Zach Cowan, who was terrific for most of last year for LSU, but gotten off to a really, really tough start. Couldn't have possibly been where he thought he was going to come into the game in the 4th inning on Friday night. But the changeup was working again. And he comes out there, and the one thing they need him to do is throw strikes because they'd already walked 11. Well, he didn't walk anybody. The changeup was working. And his 3+ innings, 3 1/3 innings, his best outing of the year.
And that was a bright spot. And Cowan's a guy that has a lot of experience, before he came to LSU, pitched in the regionals, and really is kind of a good guy on that staff to come in after these hard throwing guys with his changeup and his moving fastball and a little less velocity. So coming in after a hard throwing guy for one time, maybe a time and a half through the order is really a good thing for LSU. And Cowan's a guy that we need him to step up and maybe work his way into that weekend rotation or top end reliever. But I think he's more attuned to being a starting pitcher in my mind, in my opinion.
Now, let me talk about something that was really positive and get on us at the same time. You realize we did last week's podcast, and we were so focused on the series loss to Sacramento State that not one time in the entire podcast did we say anything about Jake Brown hitting 3 home runs in a game, and we should have. Okay, and this weekend, Brown homers in the game on Friday. He homers again on the game on Sunday. The homer on Sunday, we'll get to that game, but that's a straightaway center field, and that's to break the tie. Brown's already got 11 home runs. He had 8 all of last year. We're still in March. And for a guy that you want to step up and be the catalyst that you have offensively, him and Curio, well, he's having a monster year.
He's having a monster year. Plus, he's been a great leader in the clubhouse. He's trying to bring this team along. He's a veteran. He's a Louisiana native out of Sulphur High School. Really a guy that you're counting on. But I don't think there's a hotter hitter in the nation right now than Jake Brown. And I can tell you this, Charlie's really improved his draft status as well.
Well, I'll tell you who he reminds me of. He reminds me of another Jake that played for LSU. Reminds me a little bit of Jake Fraley. If you remember Fraley,
Mhm.
who's been in the big leagues for 6, 7 years, something like that. He's got a lot of those tools that Fraley had, and it's on his way towards an All-American type season. We should mention these things when we're talking about, well, he lost this and he walked this and he did. We should mention the guy that keeps hitting the ball over the fence, right?
Yeah, and then Jake's got it all. Jake Brown's got a great arm. He was a pitcher and a hitter coming out of high school. And they moved him in. He swung the bat. He's got power. He can hit for average. He can run. And so, as an outfielder, he's really a good prospect. But as an LSU player, he's the total package. He's in the mode, like you're saying, Jake Fraley, he's in the mode of a guy that can be a key player like a Dylan Cruz type of guy that really can get the team going and follow his lead. And I think it's hopefully going to involve more and more into that. And he gets a few more guys on board with him, and this team is going to take off from there.
Late in the game, Gavin Guidry comes in. LSU puts the big 5-run eighth together to take the lead into the ninth inning. We've talked about Gavin Guidry coming back from a year out of the game with the back injury, and then he comes in, and the first 9, 10 innings of the season, he's untouchable. A little bit scuffling the last couple of times out, but here I said I wrote in the article I did for Tiger Bait. If they go into the ninth inning with a short lead on Friday night and they've got everybody available to him, who's he going to? And I said he's going to Gavin Guidry. And he went to Gavin Guidry, and Guidry was one pitch away from, like you said, getting out of this thing. But it was a lot of emotion to get out of the eighth, Dan, and maybe let up just a little bit in the ninth.
That's where you want to have two guys. If you got two innings, like Guidry gave you a good inning, high emotion. Last year would be a guy, the next guy to come in would have been Kason Evans to come in and close it. So that's what they got to figure out. They got pieces and they're trying to put the puzzle together. Guidry, tough to get that emotion after you have that high of emotion to get that level of intensity. And the other thing is, we say this all the time, Charlie, the guys in Vanderbilt, they're on scholarship and NIL too.
Yeah, they are.
Like they're pretty good. So give them credit. I mean, their guy had a great at bat and picked a pitch, and Gavin threw one pitch bad, and the guy took advantage of it. If he fouled it off and then grounded out to short, we would be having a different conversation.
Guidry's role moving forward. Long guy, short guy?
I don't know. I think it evolves. I think it depends on what they need. I think he's a guy that you can put in any role. I think down the line as we get going, and we didn't talk about this prior, but I think two key pieces to this thing, if we're going to get where we got to be, are Zach Cowan and Gavin Guidry. I think those two guys, veteran guys, experienced guys, they've got to fill a role in the winning and losing of the games.
We're brought to you by Dependable Storage, secure and climate-controlled options for all of your storage needs, whether you're moving or downsizing, some seasonal storage, business use, student storage. You got to put your stuff up somewhere for summer break. Rent on your schedule at Dependable Storage. Across the state of Louisiana and into Mississippi, Youngsville, Slidell, Prairieville, New Orleans, Houma, Baton Rouge. Keep your belongings safe year-round. Protect them against Louisiana's extreme heat and high humidity level. If you've got valuables, they stay in great condition. Larger units with climate control for furniture, electronics, important documents, and they'll give you free use of their rental truck for your move-in. Dependable Storage, they want your stuff. Check them out at dependablestorage.com. Okay, let's move to Saturday's game. This is the other tough way to lose a game. LSU got the roof fell in on them in the fifth inning, and
We
it's
call that a boat race.
yeah. But the bigger problem is LSU had one hit into the sixth inning, and so when we start talking about problems for this team, we could talk about the pitching all we want, and we have, and we will. But this offense has gone into so that was the big thing coming into the weekend, or coming off of last weekend. Where's the offense? Where's the offense? Well, they scored 12 runs on Friday night. They scored 16 runs on Sunday. Well, that's enough to win usually. But the Saturday game, the offense goes completely cold for 6 innings.
Again, a highly emotional loss for kind of like people don't understand it, an inexperienced team. so to speak. There's not a lot of guys. You've got a few pieces, but learning how to do this and opening on the road against Vanderbilt. I don't think we've ever played well at Vanderbilt in the Tim Corbin era. Charlie, you're the
Corbin's
research guy.
Corbin's pretty good. I remember the year that when Nola went up there and pitched against was it Beatty? I think was one of the long line of number one picks that have had pitched Friday nights up there. And I remember Nola beat him, and they won that series. But you're right. Vanderbilt's usually really good. I mean, there were 4 national championships between the 2 coaches on that field this
Yeah,
weekend.
Corbin's a real good coach. He was a guy interviewed at LSU, but couldn't get out of his contract.
Yeah.
I mean, that really was the deal. And Tim's really and a friend of mine, and I know him, and he's a good coach. But it is hard to play at Vanderbilt. It's a different dynamic, and they're highly emotional, and they got it rolling there. So it's not like a easy opponent. Forget the records. But it's very tough to be there. But again, you come off that highly emotional win. Their energy's high. We got to pick ourselves up, and that's a tough one. But again, the Jay Johnson system of hitting, the pitching's got to keep it close because Jay's playing all 9 innings on offense. Hitters are trying to wear the pitch count down. They're trying to be selective. They're trying to get ahead in the counts, and they're trying to play all 9 innings at the plate. So if you get in a situation where you get down by crooked numbers, they get a little big, 5, 6, 7. It's very difficult because now you got to be more aggressive. You got to play station to station. It takes them out of the Jays type of offense, and so the other games that we had, they got it going, but it was at the end of the games after they got the big, they got down a bit.
They walked 11 guys on Friday night. They walked another 10 on Saturday. Keno, I mean, I don't, no, I mean, you can't walk that many people and hope to be competitive in this league.
Yeah, you gotta keep your walks and strikeouts in ultimately you like it 3-1. 2-1 is almost acceptable. 4-1 is really great. And that strikeout to walk ratio is big. You got to make them earn their way on base because when you put those free passes on, it just increases the percentages of them scoring runs. It makes the pitcher throw out a stretch more often. It's more stress pitching, and it just changes the whole dynamic of what you're doing on the mound.
Cooper Moore started this game. He's been steady, I think, for LSU on Saturdays. He's not going to blow you away with maximum velocity. He doesn't have, that killer pitch maybe, but he's a strike thrower. They hit him the other night was basically what I saw.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, there's nothing to say. The guy did what he does. But Vanderbilt's good, and that's going to happen. But we got to match up to that on our end.
So they're still they're clinging in the game when he leaves. Okay, Vanderbilt, honestly, they blew a chance in the 4th. LSU gets fortunate. They hit a screamer at Milam, and he doubles the guy off of third base to keep him out of the big inning. They couldn't get out of that the next inning. Ethan Plug has been pretty good for LSU. This was his first really tough outing. And again, this is a guy you're bringing in for the first time in close quarters, conference game, on the road, first weekend. He didn't get shelled, but he had a hard time finding the strike zone too.
Yeah, if you're not finding the strike zone and get behind, it's going to just increase the chances. Bad things happen. Ground balls get missed. It's an attitude. You got to get ahead in the counts. You got to put the pressure on the offensive side for them, and then defense got to be solid. You got to get ahead in the counts and have them take bad swings and not get good swings off. And again, we're hoping the Plug, who's been good, picks up on that and gets that outing behind him and has it as a learning experience.
Yeah, got to be something that you grow from if they're going to get where they want to go. We're brought to you by Town Square Pizza, downtown Baton Rouge on North Boulevard, across from, of course, Town Square. If you're working downtown, you got a limited amount of time for lunch. They get you in and out in a hurry with generous portions of delicious hot square pizza. Build your own or have one of their great specialty pizzas, tons of salads, family packs available available if you want to get them for a delivery or to go. Family packs also have kids meals that you can order from Town Square Pizza. If you're coming in for LSU baseball, you can go down to Town Square Pizza. You're coming in for football in the fall. If you're just hanging out downtown here in the spring, enjoy some of the good weather. Make it Town Square Pizza. Let me get into Sunday. And they need a big outing from William Schmidt. You're down to give me a little bit of the coach's mentality here. You're down 0-2 in a series. You don't want to get swept. You've got a guy who has pitched really well for you going on Sunday, and your bullpen's been beat up a little bit. So William Schmidt going out there, he couldn't go out there and get blown up in the first or second inning. That would have been lights out. Yeah, that would have been a disaster.
No, well, you're looking for here, William Schmidt. All right, buddy, you've been doing a good job on Sunday. Freshman year, you went undefeated in the middle of the week. We're stepping up to the weekend. We put you in Sunday night, but it's time to step up and graduate. And really, you're in a Friday night role now. You got to save the weekend, and we need a performance. So if you were in a regional, you're pitching the third game here in a regional to win it, so we can go to the super regional. And so that's the kind of performance you're looking for. And that's an opportunity for him to really show that he's the guy. So as a coach, on both ends of the spectrum, you're putting him out there and you're saying, I hope this guy shows me enough where I can start moving forward and really progress him into the role that we really need him to be with that talent. And so that's what Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske are looking for.
Then you stake him to a 4-run lead in the first inning.
Right.
So before he ever throws a pitch, he's up 4-0, and then you get 2 more runs in the 6th. So pitching with a lead, it's a little bit.
Well, you get a little overconfident, like when you're young. Oh, we're going to win this thing. We're up 6-0, and you don't realize they're really good too. And so you kind of take a break. The other thing is, on the offensive side, they're swinging a little more pressure free, a little more carefree. They can select pitches. They're looking to just get guys on base, but when they take a swing, they're going to take a hack. So the pressure's off. And on the pitching side, you're looking to center the ball, don't walk the guys, try to get ahead in the counts, and let the law of average take over a little bit more. And so, again, big leagues sometimes are tough because it takes the pressure off the offense.
He for the season had only walked 4 people. That was a problem for him last year. He's really cut down on the walks. And I did walk 3 here, but he leads the team in strikeouts, and he had 6 in this game, which kept him out of trouble. He left with what they're calling a minor back injury in the 5th inning. Jay Johnson had an interesting quote. I thought this was pretty candid. He said, "This guy is the key to my life for the next 18 months," which is true. It's very, like I said, candid. So they got him out, and Maverick Rizzi, who has really struggled with his command, came in and gives up 3 doubles. And all of a sudden, you look at this, and your 6-run lead is gone. You're going into the last 3 innings of the weekend, Dan. You're up 6-0. Now it's 6-6. You're going to the back end. You've used up a lot of bullpen, and man, if you drop this game, it's going to feel like the world just fell on your head to get beat these, like we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, to get beat these three ways in 3 different games. That would have been really hard to overcome.
Yes.
They stepped it up in the last 3 innings. The sticks came alive. Jake Brown hits the big homer to straightaway center field. So they get the win. And this is not easy. This is not a given that you're going to come, back from blowing a 6-run lead on the road in the league.
You said this earlier in this podcast. We got to look for good things. We came back from behind in 2 ball games, actually could have won both of them, 1 pitch away from winning both ball games. For Jay Johnson, you're looking for positives over the weekend. That's a positive on the road, coming back. Okay, let me say this. If we were the home team, we might have won both of those games. Again, that's a factor in it, home and away. In the way you hit top of the inning, bottom of the inning. If we're the bottom of the inning, and Gavin Guidry pitches without emotion, we win the game on Friday night. So the positive is the team shows some competitive fire. Okay. The downside is we got to figure out how not to have Saturday happen again. And we got to figure out how to get deeper in the game with our starting pitchers. That's it. And then that keeps the bullpen in order. And guys that come in, Jay and Nate Yeski have to know when they come in what they're going to get from that guy that night. It seems like you say, Fogg is supposed to be the guy. All of a sudden he comes in, he doesn't give you what you're looking to continue to get. Garcia had a great outing in the middle of the week. Comes in and you're looking to get the same thing. See, if we can get that consistency, then Jay can manage the game better, knowing what he's going to get on the mound and knowing what he's going to get from these players. And again, that's playing more and more with pressure situations. My belief and knowing Jay and the coaching staff is that's going to get better and better every weekend that we play in the SEC.
Garcia did get him out of a jam. He did give up a run, but he did get him out of a little bit of trouble there. And that's 2 outings that you can kind of build on. It wasn't perfect, but he did get the 3 strikeouts.
He's moving into that lefty role that you're looking for him or Flog to do it.
Yeah.
And he's moving into the forefront of that right now. But it'd be nice if he could both them to do it. And then you got something. So again, that's what the coaches are looking for. And these kids are going to compete. They're going to figure it out.
We're brought to you by Marucci Sports. You got to take the campus tour over at the Marucci facility. Your clubhouse access, you could tour the working wood shops, the paint booths, the finishing rooms, see how they make the big league bats, museum-style exhibits. You can learn about the history of Marucci, shop exclusive limited edition gear in the gift shop. This is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can contact them for private or group tours at additional time. Tickets for those 5 and older come with a 20% discount for the Marucci Campus Tour store or Hitter's House Baton Rouge. Those are valid on the day of the scheduled tour. Head on by Marucci. From a backyard shed to the top of the game, Marucci's Campus Tour. Go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. All right, so I can't ignore the fact that LSU was able to get out to this lead through mostly Nate Taylor, the starting pitcher for Vanderbilt, having a really rough day. They go out, and before they get a hit, I think it was 2 walks, a balk, and a pass ball. And LSU's on the board, and they haven't even had to, put the bat on the ball yet. Now, Aaron Beatty did double off the wall, so they still make it hurt. Okay, the big hit, but a lot of this was kind of Vanderbilt falling apart there in the early part of this game.
Well, that's baseball. We did it on our end,
right.
on their end. That's the way it goes. It's just baseball. And, the Forrest Gump theory, it's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And that's it. And that's the art of the game. That's what makes baseball a great game. There's nothing given when you walk out on the field. Anything can happen at any time. Guy can be pitching great, and all of a sudden the roof caves in. And that's why the coaches get paid a lot of money, Charlie. They got to figure that stuff out.
I'm more than a little concerned about the defensive play what we've seen so far. Now, Stanfield coming back this week helps because
I think he helps the team a lot.
He helps, everything. But now you're solidified. They had some misplays out in left field. You don't really have infielders playing out there. But they've got some other spots. We talked about the catching. There's a couple other spots they were trying to work Jack Ruckert in. He made another error in the game on Sunday. He'll probably get another chance, but he was looked at as a defensive ace. He's made a couple of errors. I'm not sure what they're going to do there. The transfers are having a hard time hitting. And so there's a little bit of optimism based on what we were talking about. You got one game. You had the comebacks on Friday night. You withstood the fact that they came back on you on Sunday, and your resiliency, and you win the game. But Cano, there's a lot to work on, man. There's a lot of stuff that needs fixing.
A lot of things you need to get the engine running smooth. Okay, number one is, let's get real, Charlie. Last year's defense spoiled everybody.
Well, I didn't expect that. Okay, that was the best infield defense in the history of the school.
But we're not good on defense.
Yeah.
Okay, we won national championships with teams that weren't good on defense.
Well, yeah, but if you hit 188 home runs, you can withstand a few errors.
Okay, that's my point. My point is that if you're not playing good defense, you got to pick it up in other areas. So if you pick it up on offense, you can make up for that. If you can pick it up on the pitching side, you make up for that. So you got really 3 areas: offense, defense, and pitching. Okay. You got to get everything working to a certain level. If you get all 3 to a very above average level, then you got a real good chance to win. But if you only have one above average and the others are average, it makes it harder to win. Then you're kind of at the will of the game, at the will of the opponent. Remember, Skip said when you 2 years, if your biggest weapon to win a game is the other team plays poorly, you got work to do.
Yeah, that's an issue. We're brought to you by Bayou Apparel. Looking for anything LSU? Go to everythinglsu.com. Shipping from Baton Rouge. All of your Lane Kiffin gear available right now. The Lane Train shirts and hats. The visor tees are there. They've got LSU national championship shirts that are remaining from last year. Your really nice white, purple, and gold polos with the Salem Mike logos, the interlocking LSU logos. Some of the older logos are available too. Lots to choose from at everythinglsu.com. Designer logos available as well. Quick turnaround for you at Bayou Apparel and everythinglsu.com.
But I have to, at Bayou Apparel, I've got to get our good friend Lynn Rollins. I got to get a pucker up and kiss
Pucker
that
up,
baby.
yeah.
I got to get one of those shirts.
We gotta. Maybe we get Lynn to put one of those on.
We got to get him on here, get him on the show, put one of those on, and talk about it.
LSU welcomes Grambling in for the midweek game, and then the first SEC home series is Oklahoma Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 o'clock, 6:30, and 2 o'clock. It's the beginning of a lengthy homestand for LSU. They won't go back out on the road for over another 2 weeks when they go to Knoxville. So it's back-to-back SEC series plus 3 games in the midweek over the
much needed.
That's that's 9 games in a row. It's you can get right here.
Much needed, and fans, if you're out there, you're listening to the podcast, you got to get out there and support the team. It's time to really help this team bond together with the fans, because that's what makes LSU the place where everybody wants to come, is the fan support, the love that the fans have, our outstanding fan base, and the whole atmosphere at Alex Box. Get out this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, make your plans, get out there, support this team, and help them get over the hump and get LSU baseball where it's supposed to be.
For Dan Canevari, I'm Charles Hanagriff, and this has been the Hannycast.